Welcome to Keep Trucking Personal, where we invite you to explore the heart and soul of our company, Kiwi Brothers Trucking. Through engaging storytelling, insightful market updates, and vibrant energy, our podcast reflects our culture, values, and achievements. Whether you're a team member or industry enthusiast, join us to build connections, foster growth, and inspire excellence. Discover why we're more than just a company. We're a community, a catalyst for positive change, and a home for those aspiring to be part of something extraordinary. The pre-trip is complete and engines ready. We're set to hit the road on the Keep Trucking Personal podcast. Let's go.
Welcome back to Keep Trucking Personal. My name is Tyler Kiwi, and I am your host. This is your first time joining in. I'm so glad that you're here. This is a podcast that is focused on bringing the trucking community together and making us stronger, one episode at a time. If you want to get reminders weekly, please subscribe, sign up. You can listen to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. So there's various platforms that you can listen to this. I'm super glad that you're here. I want to dive into something that I've learned recently and kind of walk through it. So if you will, let's jump into a Bible verse. This is not common. I don't usually walk this kind of concept, but I want to go through it on this one. So here's the verse. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. So let me read that again. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Now that's Galatians 6:9. And so that hit me, there's so much to unpack in that. And when you think of the trucking industry, it is a grind. It doesn't matter if you are a driver or you are not a driver. This is a tough industry. It's unlike any other industry out there. So there's a lot that goes into this, but let's talk about this and kind of, I'm going to unpack some things. So there's a lot of noise out there. A lot of companies saying we treat drivers like family. And we're guilty. We say the same thing. Many trucking companies are composed of family ownership. It's just how trucking is. You need that foundation, and families build that. So it's not just something you can say, right? You can't just say family isn't, family is something you build. That's where I'm trying to go with this. Family is something you build. It's not just something you say. And just like a strong family, it starts with trust. So before I dive into that, I want to read something that I went through on social media this week. This is from someone that says they've been in the trucking industry their whole life. In 2019, they got their CDL and started driving. So from 2019 to current day, he's had 14 different jobs. So he's worked at 14 different companies. And these are the 10 things he's had to say about most companies. Most companies don't care about the truck driver, and they will fire a driver who vocalizes an issue, even if it's a valid issue. So there's number one that he claimed. Number two, most trucking companies are run like a dictatorship. Number three, most recruiters are told to lie so trucks can get filled. Turnover is part of the toxic cycle. Number four, I don't owe anyone an explanation or commitment. My CDL isn't valued. I don't stay. Number five, Penn Street and other document recording companies are out there to tarnish truck drivers' reputations, and many trucking companies use the threat of trashing a driver's DAC report in effort to stay with the company. Number six, home time isn't something most companies care about. They'd rather the driver stays in the truck and expect them to truck 365 days a year. When a driver does go home, they expect them back in the truck and working before their time at home ends. Many trucking companies expect the driver to work even when they aren't feeling well. Number seven, most trucking companies pay zip code to zip code, which causes the driver to lose 70 to 120 miles per week. Number eight, most trucking companies are exactly the same. All that changes is a few cents per mile, the equipment and the location. The same nonsense, micromanaging, and trashy behavior is transferred from one company to the next. Number nine, trucking companies are known to throw drivers out on the side of the road and strand them. That's why I never tell a company I'm thinking about quitting. And number 10, overall, trucking companies create their own drama by the way they treat their drivers. A lot there that he has to say, those 10 claims from working at 14 different companies. And I'm on each one of those bullets. I can agree and disagree with some of it. I think it's unique that this industry is an industry that someone can and willing can rotate 14 jobs. I think number 8, where he said most trucking companies are exactly the same. I believe that's true for the most part. I believe everybody wants to do good in this industry. I believe every trucking company has to do good in this industry. This is a for hire industry. And just as any driver wants to make the most money, that's kind of the foundation, home time and money. If those two things aren't met, a driver starts to look again. But back to the whole concept, right? There's a lot that guy said, and I just thought it hit me really hard. So I wanted to repeat it out there because I think, it's kind of bold. I look at the 14 companies, that's 2 a year from 2019, and I ask myself, like, what's the common denominator here? So that was part of it too, right? I said, hey, if this driver can come and go and leave and doesn't, if somebody questions his CDL, he just ups and quits. And if he's going to quit, he doesn't tell you. Now, I disagree with a lot of that. I think if somebody's unhappy with their current situation, bring it up. As a company that cares, and we talk about it internally in every situation, as a company that cares and someone that understands the pain that a driver goes through, I'm willing to admit when we made mistakes. I have no issues doing that. And I love to set up a new opportunity for a driver that's having, this isn't what I signed up for. Maybe he's just, he or she isn't, happy. Then let's try a different approach. Maybe it's the leadership that you're a part of. Maybe it's the pod structure, something that you disagree with. We can talk through it. That's part of building a family. So back to where I had said, we treat drivers like family. If you want that saying to be true, you have to build trust. This is a two-way street. This is not just the driver comes and if we don't trust you, down the road, and same, this is a two-way street. So as a company, we owe you honesty. We owe you clear pay and expectations, and we owe you support when things go wrong. And now I believe that we do all of that. I think the driver controls most of the outcomes for everything. As a company, we have an integrity and responsibility to make sure that you have freight in the plan once you're getting empty and you're ready to be empty. We uphold the equipment and we have a standard that we have to live by. It's not just our internal standard. This is the standard of the DOT and what they expect us to do. So we do that just as any other company, I believe, intends to do. Safety, it's paramount. The things that we invest in and the processes that we are working through, those are not only to protect the driver, believe it if you will, but it's also to protect everyone else around our drivers. We want everyone to go home safe. So there's a lot, but you can see as trust is a two-way road, and then we work hard to deliver on that. You have a responsibility too as the driver. You have to hold the line. You have to show up and you have to stay the course. You have to continue with it through the good and through the bad. Because if you don't, you will not build a foundation. And that's kind of like this. You don't plant a seed and walk away expecting fruit. You have to plant it. You have to water it. You have to protect it. You have to stay long enough to let the roots take hold. Because if it doesn't, nothing will grow. And that's the same in trucking. If you jump from job to job every few months, you start over. You start over again and again and again, and you never get the benefits of tenure, relationship, reputation, and the long-term outcome is family. You become family. And many of the people that I've worked with, I look at them that way. You come in, I respect your family as you respect mine. We work hard together, and as the relationship grows and it matures, you start to look at them like family. You understand their pain they have pain, and they understand your pain. So it's a two-way street. And I want to kind of dive into the one job versus many jobs. The 14 jobs in 7 years, 2 jobs a year, saying all trucking companies are the same, their pay. What benefit would you have from cycling so many companies? Unless it was a study, what benefit would you have? That would be very hard to do. That'd be very hard on you, your family, just learning new cultures everywhere you go twice a year. I couldn't imagine it. But the things you pass up when you move companies, first and foremost, raises incentives. Many companies plan pay around tenure. You get more pay as you tenure. That is foundational. There's a lot of things that happen in a company as the driver gets to understand the freight lanes and how that company works. They become safer, their tenure and their pay go up. It's just a natural evolution. And I see it time and time again. Once a driver buckles in and says, this is my home, I'm here, they start to benefit. It's a mindset game too. The best loads go to the most trusted drivers. It's true. It is true. You will get a shot at every type of freight we have. But if you don't have a proven track record or we can't trust you, and you can, and usually when that trust is like that, there's already friction. So we have to be diligent on what we choose and who we pick. And it comes from drivers that we can trust. We know when they say this is going to happen, that's what happens. Fewer orientation classes. Think about it. Every new job means that you have to quit this job You have to sign up for your new job. You go to that new job's orientation, and in many cases, it's a week. It takes a week's worth of time, no matter how you look at it. Your transit time, you get there, you get trained, you get your new truck, you leave with your first load. Many times with that first load or second load, you have to get through home to stock the truck. And that is just a continuous process that the company doesn't fully understand how you run, what you get done, your cycles, if you start at 3 a.m, or if you're a late morning starting driver. Like, there's a lot that comes from it. And that is something you have to work back and forth from every new company. As you stay with a company longer, you become more stable and you have less risk and less mistakes. So like I said, you understand the lanes, you understand the people. That's efficiency. It speeds everything up. And then your trust grows from building tenure. The customers begin to know you. The leadership is becoming foundational and cemented in with how you work and understanding it. Dispatch, there's a lot of benefits. Now, let's compare that to what happens with job hopping, right? Lost time between jobs, more unpaid orientation, resetting seniority and priority, less trust with dispatch, rebuilding your 401k or your benefits. Think about that. That starts over every time. Over 3 years, a steady driver can build more earnings, more savings, and more respect than someone who's bounced through 4, 5, 6 different carriers. This job is your livelihood. I know what it's like to feel pressure. Look at your paycheck and wonder if it's worth it. Everyone starts somewhere. But if you stay the course, you keep showing up, you keep doing the right thing even when no one's watching, the harvest comes. And maybe that's more miles. Maybe it's leadership. Maybe it's someone finally saying, you've earned this. But it always comes to those who stay the course. I truly believe that. I think that's such a big impact. And when you think of family and relationships, I'd always look back to obviously my family, my brothers. There's such a trust there that no matter what, you trust them, no matter what they say, no matter what their motive is, you trust them. I mean, you've built that over time because they have a reputation, no matter how you look at it, even though you're family. The same goes for your wife, your close family, your husband. As you've been together long enough, you start to know what each other is going to do and how they're going to do it and how they're going to react and what they like and what they don't like. And you build reputation. You build something that lasts, because at the end of the day, iron sharpens iron. So one man sharpens another. And that's another Bible verse that I really, really enjoy listening and really chewing on, because it brings so much. As we sharpen each other, let's grow and let's stay the course. There's so much to it. So friends, this is bigger than freight. This is about putting food on your table, keeping your family safe and warm, and building a future you're proud of. And I'd do anything to make sure my kids have a roof over their heads. And I know you would too. So let's commit, let's grow together, and let's build something that lasts. I'm super excited you got to listen to this episode. And until next time, keep trucking personal. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Keep Trucking Personal. We appreciate you taking the time to explore the heart and soul of Kiwi Brothers Trucking with us. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review to let us know your thoughts. Tune in next time as we continue our journey together, diving deeper into what makes us a community, a catalyst for positive change, and a home for those who aspire to be part of something truly extraordinary. Until then, keep trucking, and we'll catch you on the next episode.